one of ones, but is there like a comparison of someone that you played with that you guys watching the game right now that reminds you of the young lady to your right?
I like Peyton Pritchard from Boston, the way he's able to handle the basketball. He makes big shots when the shot clock's running down, a lot like this young lady right here. Isn't afraid of the big moment and is a champion like she said.
That look in that moment wasn't confusion or shock. It was a reaction of someone who had just been publicly compared to a bench player, despite knowing she helped change the entire league. Reggie Miller delivered one of the most awkward comparisons ever on sports TV, and Caitlin Clark's expression said everything her professionalism wouldn't allow her to say out loud.
Have we seen Caitlin Clark ever look like this? I mean, this is a look of, damn, I cannot believe he just said that about me. Now, like I stated, this right here has made national news across the country. Many reporters are talking about it. Let me read this caption right here. It stated, Caitlin Clark made her NBC debut last night for Sunday Night Basketball, and Reggie Miller was asked to give his best NBA player comparison. Now, that's why
Look at her expression. We've seen Caitlin Clark handle hard fouls, public criticism, and nonstop media pressure. Through it all, she's kept that calm, media-trained smile. But on this moment, sitting on live TV during her NBC analyst debut, that mask slipped, and the internet immediately lit up. This wasn't a casual podcast clip. This was Sunday Night Basketball on NBC primetime. It was Caitlin's big on-air debut. And when Reggie Miller was asked to compare her to an NBA player, he didn't say Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, or Damian Lillard. He said Peyton Pritchard, a solid role player averaging about 8 points a game off the bench in Boston.
up for debate. I don't know why he said Peyton Pritchard. Hopefully I'm saying the young man's name right. But Dave Portnoy weighed in on the conversation. He said, I love Peyton Pritchard, but this may be the worst comparison ever. It's Magic or Steph. Maybe a worse SGA. Wow. Now, one NBA player has opened up about this entire situation on his podcast, and that is Paul Pierce. He definitely weighed in on the Reggie Miller.
Dave Portnoy called it out right away, saying, this might be the worst comparison ever, and it's hard to argue with him. Look at what Caitlin Clark did in 2024. She broke the WNBA rookie scoring record. She led the league in assists as a first-year player. She sold out arenas everywhere she played. When she was on the floor, WNBA viewership jumped by nearly 70%. TV networks even reshaped their broadcast schedules around her games. And yet Reggie Miller compared her to a player who averages about 15 minutes a night off the bench. The obvious comparison is Steph Curry. The deep logo threes, the court vision, defenses picking her up at half court because she can pull from 30 feet without hesitation. The way she lifts everyone around her. Caitlin Clark is doing in the WNBA what Steph Curry did in the NBA, changing how the game is played and how fans watch it.
This is an embarrassment.
Maybe she's just awkward. It's her first time doing like media on TV. Like she's doing the media, holding the mic.
Peyton Pritchard.
Go ahead, P. What's let P say his piece.
Like she had the look of like, bro. Dog. I was thinking more Steph Curry.
Everybody thinks that because of impact. We're talking about skill set though, just skill set alone.
He instantly said Steph Curry. You know, and like that's way before we even played this clip. That's exactly what I said, is that when you look at the style of play Caitlin Clark has, it's very similar to Steph Curry. And it's hard, very, very hard not to see that. I mean, it's clear as day. Logo threes, backdoor threes, you can call it whatever you want. When it comes to her cerebral, her brain, and the way she shoots the basketball is next level, bro. It's just next level. But let's listen.
Her skill set and her magnetic pull.
That's an impact.
Yeah, but that's part of the game, though.
Just
That's part
skill
of her
set.
game.
Because her impact, but then, like,
But
she has
her
mega
skill
pull-
set is what makes defenses react to her that way, though, Danny. No? Defenses don't react to Peyton Pritchard like that.
They're not doubling him everywhere, face guarding, denying him like they do her, like they do Steph.
Are they doing that to her?
Did you see her in the USA
I
game,
don't think they do-
in the
I don't
Olympic
think they're
game,
doing
where they
that.
were like deny? They're picking it up, her up full.
Yeah, but they ain't, bro. They're not. What you're saying, not doing all of that, bro. They
They're
pick her
doing
up.
that.
Bro.
What are you watching?
He said
You're
because
not
Peyton
watching the
Pritchard
game.
takes deep threes, they're the
I'm
same
saying it's
player.
no. That's not what I'm saying.
That is what you're.
Paul Pierce understood it immediately. On his podcast, he went straight to the Steph Curry comparison. His co-host tried to separate skill set from impact, but that argument doesn't hold up. Caitlin Clark's skill set creates her impact. Teams don't double Peyton Pritchard at half court. They don't face guard him from 40 feet. They don't redesign their entire defensive game plan because he's on the floor. But they do all of that for Caitlin Clark. We saw it on the international stage too. Defenses picked her up full court, denied her the ball, and sent help defenders the moment she crossed half court. That's not role player treatment. That's superstar respect. That's the gravity only elite players command. What makes this comparison even harder to accept is that Reggie Miller knows this feeling. He lived it. Teams built entire defensive schemes to stop him. He helped change how the three-point line was defended. Few people understand the difference between a good player and a game-changing one better than he does. So either he truly doesn't see what the rest of the basketball world sees in Clark's game, or he was caught off guard and gave a rushed answer on live TV. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But once those words were said, the moment was already lost.
Now, basically, any arena you go to, it's sold out. We're adding 2 teams. We're up to 14 now, and then hopefully getting to 18 in the next couple of years. So, business is booming, and that's a really good thing. And we kind of just got to keep meeting the moment. The talent's getting better and better. You see it at the college level coming into the professional game, too. So I feel very fortunate, and hopefully I have a long career ahead of me as well.
So that was Caitlin Clark giving her first ever NBA analyst. Now there is more little small clips, I believe.
More specifically because
There
there's
go Caitlin
things
there
in
next
his
to
game
Carmelo
maybe you would want to
Anthony
add
there.
to
Let's
yours
check
in the
this
league.
out.
Man, I think Luka. Luka's amazing, and he's incredible. I think the way he can not only score the ball, but also the way he passes. And I think the thing about him is, like,
Look at how fluid she is, bro. Caitlin Clark was made for this position. I just got to be honest, man. Like, she's coming. I don't know if she rehearsed, but she's definitely unscripted.
he's not the fastest, he's not the most athletic, but he can get his defender to move where he
And this is where it really matters. Caitlin was sitting there on her analyst debut talking about the WNBA's CBA negotiations. She called it one of the biggest moments in women's sports history and said she was confident a deal would get done. She has every reason to be. What most people won't say out loud, but everyone knows, is that the WNBA's negotiating position in early 2025 is far stronger than it was 2 years ago. And that shift is largely because of Caitlin Clark. The league added 2 expansion teams. TV viewership broke every previous record. Attendance doubled in several markets. Merchandise sales exploded. Sponsorship deals that once seemed impossible suddenly became real. Caitlin Clark didn't just raise her own profile. She lifted the entire league. And now players across the WNBA are about to benefit. Charter flights, higher salaries, better working conditions. Changes players have fought for years, but couldn't secure until the league finally had the leverage and revenue to demand more.
At this point, man, this is beautiful, beautiful coverage, man. I ain't see this one. Let me listen to this.
It's a WNBA All-Star in Caitlin Clark, and guess what? We had our own Jamal Crawford and Zora Stevenson welcome her in, but the NBC way.
Grown up, some called it pig.
Oh, wow.
Horse. The kids' game today. We're calling it NBC. All right, house rules are set. Who gets the first shot? You can go first.
Left-hand free throw.
That's crazy. Wow.
This could go anywhere.
Okay.
Feels on the line.
Look how comfortable she is on camera. This isn't someone struggling through their first broadcast. She's breaking down Luka Doncic's game with the same high-level thinking she uses on the court. She talks about how he isn't the fastest or most athletic player, but how he controls space, manipulates defenders, and takes what the defense gives him. Without even realizing it, she's describing her own game. That's why the Peyton Pritchard comparison makes no sense. Caitlin Clark processes basketball at an elite level. She sees plays forming 3 passes ahead. She reads defensive rotations instinctively. She makes decisions in real time that most players only understand after watching film. That's not role-player basketball IQ. That's Hall of Fame level understanding of the game.
All the time.
This is for game.
This is for game.
All right.
There's literally 0% chance he makes this again.
That's our welcome to the NBC moment.
Hey, this is so cool, man. I can't even lie. This is like the coolest thing ever, bruh.
There we go. Yeah.
She knew it right away.
Oh. Let's see it quick. NBC.
Wow. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fake.
Wow.
If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do
Guess what?
so
The game
instinctive and so
episode counts for a
passionate.
point.
Every word I'm moving so distinctive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patent it. Being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks. Isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast? I can roast, I can gas. Think I'm okay and last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness.
Game.
You like to double down? Oh,
Okay.
goodness.
All right.
Okay.
One leg.
Tie game.
In it.
Short.
Yeah, all right.
It's hard.
Shortly good.
Yeah, all right.
And B.
That looks good too. All right.
Okay. Okay, well, here comes B.
All right. All right. B, here we go.
Boom.
Ah.
All right, let's end it.
And you're comfortable.
Good job.
Great job. Way to hoop.
That was fun.
So that was Caitlin.
NBC knows exactly what they have. Look at the way they're presenting her. Playing horse with Jamal Crawford and Zora Stevenson, highlighting her personality, her shooting, and her comfort on camera. This isn't how you treat a temporary guest analyst. This is how you introduce someone you're building a broadcast brand around. NBC isn't thinking short-term. They're positioning Caitlin Clark as a long-term media presence. They understand her value goes far beyond her playing career. She's articulate, smart, charismatic, and she brings an audience with her. The same fans who filled arenas to watch her play will tune in to hear her break down games. That's where the Steph Curry comparison fits again. Steph didn't just change basketball. He became a cultural figure, a brand bigger than the sport. That's the path Caitlin Clark is on, and everyone seems to see it except Reggie Miller in that moment. And this is where the Peyton Pritchard comparison really exposes a deeper issue. This isn't just about one awkward TV comment. It reflects how parts of the basketball world still undervalue the WNBA, even when the evidence is overwhelming. Peyton Pritchard is a good NBA player. He shoots well, defends, and contributes to winning. But he's not a star. He's not someone coaches build entire game plans around. He's not someone defenses lose sleep over. He's a rotation player on a championship team, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not who Caitlin Clark is in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. She broke the NCAA all-time scoring record, men's or women's. She averaged over 31 points per game as a senior, while also leading the nation in assists. Then she entered the WNBA and immediately became the face of the league, driving record attendance and viewership everywhere she played. As a rookie, she averaged over 19 points and 8 assists, leading all rookies in scoring and the entire league in assists. When Caitlin Clark was on national TV, WNBA games average. When Caitlin Clark didn't play, WNBA viewership dropped to about 394,000. That's a 235% jump when she was on the floor. Indiana Fever home games sold out for the first time in franchise history. Road games in cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Phoenix saw attendance jump by 300 to 400% when Indiana came to town. That's not Peyton Pritchard impact. That's not even typical all-star impact. That's league-altering, culture-shifting influence. That's the kind of effect you compare to Magic Johnson redefining the point guard position or Steph Curry transforming three-point shooting. And the Steph Curry comparison isn't just about deep threes. It's about forcing defenses to extend 40 feet from the basket. It's about making teammates better because of the attention drawn. It's about changing what basketball considers a good shot. Before Steph, pulling up from 30 feet was viewed as reckless. After Steph, it became a real weapon. Caitlin Clark is doing the same thing in the WNBA. She's expanding what's possible, and young players are already following that example. The skill comparison holds up. Both have elite ball handling that creates space in traffic. Both see the floor at an elite level and generate easy looks for teammates. Both can take over games with scoring runs. Both want the ball in the biggest moments. And both force teams to completely rethink defensive strategy. Look at how teams defend Clark now compared to early in her rookie season. At first, opponents were still adjusting. By the playoffs, every team had specific game plans to slow her down. Face guarding, trapping on screens, denying her the ball in transition, and sending help defenders the moment she crossed half court. That's superstar treatment. That's what happens when one player can beat you by herself. Peyton Pritchard is a solid player who hits open shots and runs the second unit well. That has value. But teams don't build defensive schemes around stopping Peyton Pritchard. They don't. They don't redesign their entire defensive philosophy because he's on the floor. That comparison falls apart under even the most basic scrutiny. Now, to be fair to Reggie Miller, he was put on the spot during live television. The question came fast, and he had to respond in real time with no chance to pause and think it through. That's the reality of broadcasting. There are no second takes. Everyone has said something in the moment they'd phrase differently later. But what's revealing isn't just that the comparison was awkward. It's that Peyton Pritchard was the first name that came to mind. That suggests that even someone as experienced and knowledgeable as Reggie Miller may not fully grasp the scale of what Caitlin Clark has accomplished and what she represents for the game. Or maybe he understands it, but defaulted to a player with a somewhat similar style without considering the massive gap in influence, status, and impact. Either way, the moment landed flat. And Caitlin Clark's reaction said everything. She didn't speak up. She didn't push back. She didn't create controversy on her first day as an analyst. She stayed professional. She stayed composed. But for a brief moment, the mask slipped, and that expression was real. That was the reaction of someone who knows she's changed the direction of women's basketball, being casually compared to a bench player. The bigger issue goes beyond one comment. The WNBA and its players are still fighting for the respect they've earned. Even with record-breaking viewership, sold-out arenas, and mainstream coverage that barely existed 5 years ago, there's still a tendency to minimize women's basketball. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's subtle. And sometimes it shows up as an awkward live TV comparison that exposes biases people don't even realize they carry. If you want, I can tighten this further for YouTube narration, TikTok/Reels pacing, or add stronger hook and closing lines. Caitlin Clark has handled all of this with incredible grace. She's taken physical hits that cross the line from competitive to dangerous. She's been pulled into debates about race and privilege that she never asked to be part of. She's watched people downplay her success by crediting her skin color instead of her skill. She's even been labeled a white savior by voices that should be celebrating what she's done for the league. And through all of it, she kept performing at an elite level. She kept showing up. She kept saying the right things in public. She kept carrying herself like a professional. But that reaction to the Peyton Pritchard comparison was different. That moment reminded everyone that she's human. That constant minimizing of her accomplishments takes a toll, even if she never says it out loud. You could see it on her face. So what does this leave us? Reggie Miller probably wishes he could take that answer back. Caitlin Clark will keep being poised and respectful because that's who she is. And the rest of us will keep having the same uncomfortable conversation about why women's basketball still struggles to get the respect it deserves, even when the proof is right in front of us. The Steph Curry comparison isn't controversial. It isn't exaggerated. It's obvious to anyone who truly understands basketball. And the fact that it wasn't the first name that came to Reggie Miller's mind on live television says a lot about how far the WNBA still has to go in changing perceptions, even among people who should know better. If you want, I can now merge all your segments into one smooth, high-retention YouTube script with strong hooks, transitions, and a powerful ending.